Good morning. Welcome to Digital Planet, GIS and Society. This is Geography 5, and I'm Dan Scollin, your instructor for the class. I am an instructor in Geography and Geospatial Technologies. I'm also the program coordinator. We have a 18-unit one-year certificate in GIS and an Associates of Science degree in GIS. And this particular class actually is required for both the certificate and the degree. So I'm going to just be kind of introducing the course a little bit. I've got us logged into our course website on Canvas, which is Shasta College's online course delivery system. And so when you log into Canvas, which you can do from the Shasta College homepage, you should be able to see the view that I'm showing on the screen, and generally the way that things are oriented here, you can see that on the left hand side of the screen you have a few different options. I'm on the home screen right now, so I'll typically introduce the week's activities. You can see I've got a little interactive map, a story map, just to sort of whet your appetite a little bit about what we're going to be looking at, a little bit of introduction to the course. And then most of the material will actually be located under modules. In this first week, I did want to be sure that you all took the time to carefully read through the course syllabus so you know the requirements for the class, and the weekly schedule, which includes assignments. And then I've also got a document over here that's a little bit about my suggestions for keys to success in an online course. You're in a fully online course. This is, of course, the wave that we're seeing here. Lots of online course delivery out there, and we're working to align to the best practices guidelines for the state of California and elsewhere to really optimize the learning environment. It can be challenging at times because you're working in isolation and you don't have your face-to-face contact with your instructor. With that said, I am a full-time faculty at Shasta College, and if you are in the vicinity of the main campus, I am more than happy to meet with you during my scheduled office hours. I'm here most days. I include the contact information on the course syllabus. For most folks in the online environment, you'll be corresponding with me through the discussions and other interactive parts of the course. And then also the inbox here that I'm pointing to will get you into your email for Canvas. And that's a aspect of the online environment that you really want to take advantage of. I check my email daily, so if you have any questions at all, that's the place to direct those inquiries to me, and I'll get back with you. In terms of the lay of the land here, you do have some things that are explained to you, some things that are coming up that they give you. So you can look to those. I'm going to direct us over to the modules area. And so you'll see here we are in the first week. And I'll outline each week what the learning objectives are. These will tie back to the course syllabus. So knowing what it is that we're focusing on for the week. I've started with a little discussion just to kind of get a little bit better acquainted, to learn a little bit about you all. And so I'd ask you to try to post to that in the next few days. You'll see a posted lecture. Of course, this is an interactive video that you're going to be watching here, and I'll be doing that. But this is also a format that I'll be presenting lectures where you're just reading and viewing slides as opposed to hearing me voice over the lecture. You can see I've indented here a terms and concepts related to this first lecture, so you can kind of pull out just the specific terminology that you're learning this week. You can see we have a graded review. I've actually pushed the date out till Saturday. I think I know some of you in the course. I know we've got some working folks in the class, so I'm looking at maybe pushing the due dates from my typical Friday to Saturday. I think that may make things a little easier for folks. I'll also take the liberty of posting things through Monday. So if you're in first thing on Monday morning, you may see an incomplete postings. You may see some additional things posted through the course of the day. And I typically send announcements out that'll show up in your email when I've posted material, so that you can know that there's a new lecture posted or what have you. So for this review, there's a couple of associated documents. So a TED Talk, a TEDx talk I gave in Reading a few years ago is one of the things I'm going to ask you to watch, and there's a question related to that in the review. There's also questions related to the lecture, and then also in this week's reading. This is actually a digital book that you're going to download, and you can see I'm just asking you to read these associated pages, and those are the pages that the questions will pertain to. So that's kind of the lay of the land for the first week. As you look through the course syllabus, you will see that half of the course grade is going to be based on these reviews that are going to go through and ask you a series of questions related to both the readings, the lectures as well, and also some of the videos that I'll take advantage of sharing with you. And then you'll also have, so that's half the course grade, and then we'll have 2 exams that'll make up 25% of the grade. So as you go through the terms and concepts and so forth. And then you will also see 25% of the grade related to 2 assignments, and I'll post the first assignment here in the next couple of days. And those will stretch out a little bit, and it'll actually get us into exploring some of the online geospatial technologies that are available today. This course does not focus as much on the how to do GIS as such, but more centered around how GIS and geospatial technologies are impacting society, the economy, the environment, and this is the essence of this idea of the digital planet from which the course derives its name. Okay, so in the remaining time that I have with you here, I am going to guide you through. I've got a number of samples of online digital mapping that I'm going to share with you, just to kind of whet your appetite and to introduce some of the basic capabilities that are out there now as a result of what we will describe as geospatial technologies. Before I move into this, though, I did want to just reiterate the importance of frequent visiting to the course website as a fully online class, and a course that is often offered in a 17-week format. We're only in 15 weeks. Things move along quite fast, and if you're not in there staying on top of the material, you should be in the course certainly on Monday, Tuesday, making sure that you're aware of what's due, and then being tuned into submittal of materials, typically that takes place at the end of the week, Friday or Saturday. And so you want to be really tuned into those. Of course, your grade is going to be based on your completion and submittal of the graded reviews and discussions, also the assignments, and of course the exams. Okay, so for starters, we will be throwing around this term geospatial quite a bit. So this is just a few definitions, sort of the stock definition relating to or denoting data that is associated with a particular location. Of course, we're interested in location here. I like this definition, dictionary.com. They say a contemporary definition for geospatial is pertaining to the geographic location and characteristics of natural or constructed features and boundaries on, above, or below the Earth's surface, especially referring to data that is geographic or spatial in nature. And of course, we're interested in the technologies that enable what we can do. A more industry-specific definition comes from the GIS Lounge. Data that geospatial is used to indicate that data that has a geographic component to it. And so this is the essence of what we're going to be looking at here. So many examples of these technologies. This just happens to be a personal favorite of mine. I think it's a really fun and beautiful display of basic atmospheric data. It's actually showing us wind speed at the moment. And I wanted to focus a little attention on the situation that's going on in Texas right now. You can see this vortex of swirling winds that we associate with a hurricane. Of course, we're beyond hurricane status, but you can see how this system is hovering around Houston. If I turn on rainfall, we can see this very intense belt of rainfall. But the idea here that you take data that's being collected from sensors and satellites and you create a visually compelling, geographically referenced utility visualization is quite compelling. So another example of these technologies, this is an online geographic information system, and it's titled Educational Attainment in America, and it was something that was done actually from Texas Christian University, TCU. And I thought, again, might be interesting to look at the Houston area. And in this case, with the amount of flooding that's going on in the city, this educational attainment level, you can see how segregated the red areas being lower income areas. And this actually could be a proxy for income level and in some ways maybe even ability of people to be able to move out of the way of the floodwaters. But really quite a fascinating study in so, you know, we can look at metadata for the metadata is the descriptive data about what we're looking at. They had actually keyed into a couple of cities here. I was trying to find the links that directed us to cities. San Francisco, of course, high educational attainment, generally speaking. You can see it trends lower. Graduate degrees, look at all the blue in and around San Francisco. Of course, you look at Oakland by comparison, especially down into the southern areas of Oakland. Now you see a lot more some college, high school, and even less than high school. So the ability to be able to take aggregate data, represent it geographically, we can show patterns and can inform us about what we're looking at. So that's an example of a geographic information system. Of course, there's so much imagery available today, and Google Earth is something most folks are familiar with. A recent utility that was put together using Google Earth imagery is designed to show changes through time. And so here we are, Shasta Lake, and we're just going to run this from 84 all the way to the present. And you see this sort of flashing. It's quite interesting actually to see. You can link forward. You can actually see the area I'm showing up here where the Fountain Fire hit in the early 1990s. And then of course you see this growth in clear-cut timber harvesting that's going on, creating this patchy pattern. So remote sensing and the collection of imagery. I'm running out of time here on my utility, but online geographic information system provided by the city of Reading, and gives us the ability, for example, to be able to search up certain parcels. And when we search up these these parcels. I have a parcel number that I lost there, and I'm going to run out of time, so we'll pick this up